Sunday morning cold, eyes on the score, touchdown dance ball, craving for more. Friends are calling, trades are on fire. Rookies falling, championship desire. Fantasy football fever, chasing the dream. Top of the leaderboard, we're the winning team. Sunday morning gold, eyes on the score, touchdown dance ball, craving for more. Friends are calling, trades are on fire. Rookies falling, championship desire. Fantasy football fever, chasing the dream. Top of the leaderboard, we're the winning team.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Healers podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Brown. Today we're going to be talking about the Guillotine League and, of course, quarterback. And that's because today we have a returning guest. This man excels in the fantasy space. Some people even call him the Excel genius. That's right. He integrates spreadsheets to find the best quarterback prospects of our time. Microsoft, more like micro strong. We're bringing back Zach with Breaking the Quarterback Code and the Fantasy Football Holics Network. You can find him and follow at Tier 1 Quarterback on Twitter X.
Hey, thanks,
Welcome
Dustin.
in, Zach.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Today we're going to be talking the Guillotine League. Let's hear what you have to say about the Guillotine League. Well, what's your thoughts on the league, and is this something that you'd continue playing going forward?
Well, I pronounce it Guillotine League, but it's whatever.
Tomato, tomato.
Oh, I know. I didn't realize it was pronounced both ways. I'm sitting there calling you out months ago on it, and I guess I was wrong. And yeah, so I'm sorry, but Guillotine. No, this league is great. I love it. It's been a lot of fun, but I really don't want to get chopped, because once you get chopped, like, nobody in the league's talking anymore. Like, they dip out and that's it. So that's the worst part of this league, is you won't see
We've
it
had a
till
few
next
people
year.
come back and talk.
Yeah, some.
Then,
I think your wife
they get
comes
muted
back
back,
every so
though.
often.
Say
I
it
don't know,
again.
who else has come back?
Brink has talked a little bit, and
Well, he just got chopped last week.
he just got chopped last week. I think Emily also said a few things this past week with the Guillotine League.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, once they're out, they're out. So, but
Yeah.
no, it's been a real fun league. I'm glad you started up, because I've been wanting to join one of these for many years. So it's exciting, especially with 18 teams. It's been pretty competitive.
Yep. So we should probably just give a little bit of a brief consensus of what the Guillotine League is here, or Guillotine League, if you're in North Dakota.
Dude, it was like this when I was
Right.
in Virginia.
Okay, in Virginia, maybe it's a
Northern Virginia. Is that right outside DC?
Somewhere outside of Illinois and Iowa. The guillotine. Now I'm going to say guillotine here. The guillotine.
There's
the
a U and an
guillotine.
I. There's not just an I. It's a U and an I.
The Guillotine League is basically a league that we had 18 teams draft, and whoever ends up scoring the least amount of fantasy points in week one, they're chopped. They are out of the league. They're done for the season. I mean, can you imagine being the first team out and then having to just wait the entire season just to see who ends up making it? Like, you're out. You're already checked out week one. Fortunately for you and I, we're still both in this league. But week after week after week, the lowest scoring team ends up getting chopped, and all of their players get thrown back into the waiver wire to just go like bidding crazy. How has your experience been with like the bidding process with like the waiver wire?
Yeah, no, I just with this, I couldn't imagine being chopped week one. Like you draft like this phenomenal team, and they just happen to be bad week one. Like, that was one of the reasons why one of my good friends wasn't going to join, because he's like, no, I'm not going to do that and that. But the whole year just watching everybody else play with my guys, no way. But no, it's been great. The bidding process, yeah, I don't think I won a bid until like after week 6. I was very sorry. I got alarms going off here for kids. Sorry, where were we?
About winning the bid week 6.
Oh yeah, winning the bid weeks. Yeah, so I avoided picking any players up, like unless it was going to get them for extremely cheap. So I was trying to, so like I thought my team was going to be was strong enough to at least last the first couple weeks, so that way I'd have more money to spend later on. So, but yeah, I think there's only one week that I really needed to bid, and that was week 8. I was actually projected last that week too, because I had, what was it, JSN, I think Sam Darnold, Devontae Adams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and one other. I had like 5 guys that were on bye week,
Yep.
and I don't know how I got by. I spent a lot. Let's see, I don't remember. I think I got Chase Brown and someone else. But yeah, that's where I spend most of my money and actually survived that week, and then been great the last couple weeks. And then finally, I spent the big money to get John Robinson. So hopefully that's the final piece. I think I have about $50 left or so for the rest of the year, but I have a team at least now that it'll carry me at least a couple more weeks. And hopefully
I
at
think
that
that's
point,
the biggest thing is like you don't have to be the number 1 scoring team every week, but you can't be last, because when
no,
you're last, that's it.
if
And
you're
I
not
know I had
first
a
or
few
last.
close calls, especially
Oh yeah.
early on. It was like week 4, week 5, when Lamar Jackson ended up going out, and I was scrounging for quarterback. And my whole thought process and my strategy going into this was there's 18 teams that are drafting. I only need 1 quarterback, because every week there's going to be a team that's getting chopped. I was one of like 2 people that only drafted 1 quarterback. Some teams are drafting 2, 3 quarterbacks at a time. And I'm thinking, okay, I got Lamar Jackson, I'm going to be just fine. And then all of a sudden he gets injured with a hamstring, is out not 1 week, not 2, not 3. It was like 3 or 4 weeks. And I was scrounging. I was playing guys like Jake Browning. The Bo Nix game, I think you ended up dropping Bo Nix that week. I
No,
ended up
I
just
went to bid
picking him.
on him. I put in for golf and Knicks, and I thought I had Knicks on the higher waiver or on the priority. You would have been out that week if I got Knicks.
I would have
You could
absolutely
you
been.
could take my screw up for you still being in,
I
and now
was
he's
watching
on
it. I was clearly on the chopping block. Bo Nix going kind of, deep
the
into that
fourth quarter,
game. It's
right?
the 4th quarter. He's got 4 points to his name. And my wife is like, hey, I'm going to hand you one of these like miracle beers. And so I ended up
Yeah, you
drinking
kept
one. And
talking
next
about
thing you
that.
know, he's scoring a couple of touchdowns. And I'm like, boy, I think I might need another one of those miracle beers to score a few more points. And he ends up getting like 40 points that week. I ended
That
up
was incredible.
squeaking by, and my team is, I've been in the danger zone, I think, ever since.
Mhm. Have you noticed? I actually went back today and looked at each week, and the lowest projected team until last week was the first time, but the lowest projected team hasn't lost yet until last week.
Is that right?
Yeah. So if you go back, the Sleeper has it all wrong. So you have a 10% chance if or what is it? You have a 90% chance of not being chopped if you're if you have the lowest projections according to Sleeper.
That's interesting. I will say I do like the Sleeper app. I had started this league before part of the app, and I was just going to do it like a regular fantasy league with PPR and just manually have to drop and have to do a lot of commissioner stuff. But instead, Sleeper actually has a format called like the chopping zone, or the chopping part of the app. I can't remember what it
Mhm.
was, but when you basically start the app, and you're picking out what kind of league, it's basically like chop league. And they have like a chopping zone, they got a danger zone, and they got a safe zone. And they basically every week are saying like, how is your team going to score compared to the rest of the league? And what Zach is saying is like whoever's in the chop zone at the beginning of the week before the game start kickoff, they're like, they have right now it says, we've got weed whackers right now. There's 8 teams left in this Guillotine League because we've had 10 weeks of football. So the number 8 team, they're projected 116 points this week, weed whackers, and they're projected a 48% like safe rate. And then as it goes into the danger zone, it's right around that 52 to 53% safe zone. And then it goes to 59 to 66% safe zone in the actual like safe column.
Yeah, even if all your guys have finished and there's people lower than you, like you're still at 1%, 1% not safe. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
And
And
sleeper's going to take away from you.
I was at 1% that week with Bo Nix. It
Oh.
dropped down all the way to 1%.
You had a 1% chance of winning?
Yeah, I was down to 1%, and I was able to come back and not get chopped.
So it's definitely the comeback of the year. So if you end up winning, it's because I didn't pick up Bo Nix after I've been talking about him for the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's definitely a strong possibility. I did have to just drop Garrett Wilson today because he went on the IR, and I really don't see Garrett Wilson coming back to play for the Jets, to be honest. It's like, what's the point? He came back too early last week, kind of retweaked his knee, I think, and there's really no point for Garrett Wilson to come back this season for the Jets.
Not really. Like, let him get healthy.
Yeah, they need to shut him down. And that's all the more reason why it's like, okay, if they're going on the IR, that's 4 weeks from now. Well, there's 8 teams. What's the chances of me really needing to hold on to Garrett Wilson? There's going to be a lot of better fish in the sea at that time.
Yeah, one thing about this league is holding on to those injured players and putting them on IR. There's really no point, like unless you have like the room to do so. But yeah, eventually you got to drop them and pick up better players. I have Bucky Irving, and I think I got him for cheap because he's been hurt, but I haven't even got to play him yet. So like he's just been sitting on my IR spot for last 5 weeks now. And
do you think he's coming back this season?
He practiced today, I think. So he's been limited. So I don't know why they just don't stick him on IR, but they still have a shot. They're still contending. So he'll be back.
Yeah, he had a walkthrough practice.
What's that?
They had a walkthrough practice, I think.
Yeah, no, I read something that he was out there today and limited. So at least he's out there.
Right. That's more than what he's done over the last 8 weeks.
I know it's been that's been a bust this year, man. A lot of guys drafted him super early too.
Oh, absolutely. I will say my shares of Rashad White are very happy.
Yeah,
I got a lot of Rashad White.
I think I picked up who's the other guy?
Sean Tucker.
Tucker, yeah. So I don't know. I have a soft spot for him. I really liked his profile coming out of college, and I don't think he's been given all the opportunities. Last week he did pretty good. So
yeah, his first year, he was supposed to be like a day 2 pick, and then he had some heart problems.
Right? Yeah,
he had some heart problems, and then I don't know if he got drafted or he was either like a 5th round pick or he wasn't drafted at all, and he basically just kind of had a red shirt season.
He was undrafted free agent.
Yeah. And so it's just neat to see a guy like that come back, and he's got a lot of explosiveness, and he's much better between the tackles runner than like a Rashad White. Rashad White doesn't go anywhere between the tackles.
No, White had that first year, and then Bucky Irving came along and said, "Nope, I'll take over."
Yep. And then a guy that was really hard for me to keep holding on to up until this point, and now it's starting to pay dividends, and that's Travion Henderson. Travion Henderson finally had his breakout game last week. And now tonight he's already got a touchdown, a 9 carry. Or I'm sorry, it looks like
I got to pull my stats up.
This just in. Travion Henderson had actually scored 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's not good for Drake May. Was it a pass?
And has rushed 9 carries for 36 yards.
Well, I have Drake May in this league playing tonight, so really I need some touchdowns here. Well, I got 102 yards so far, so that's not too bad.
This may have been a poor process play for me, but I got to say, after Henderson actually exploded this past Sunday, I had some concerns about Henderson playing against the Jets. And like a Thursday night football game. And I just thought it was just going to be kind of like a drug in the mud type of game between the Jets and the Patriots. And I got to say, based on the Patriots jerseys that they're wearing tonight, it looked like they were drug in the mud. And then you saw, Henderson, he's on my bench, of course, for the Guillotine League. And now he's got 17 points just sitting there on my bench. Instead of Henderson, I'm playing Saquon Barkley against the Detroit Lions and Javonte Williams, and it could come back to bite me in the ass.
Well, yeah, didn't you say the team that picks up Javonte Williams has been chopped the following week?
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
Oof.
Two weeks
you
in a row.
deserve to be
So
chopped
I'm the third one.
after sitting Travion. How do you not do that after last week's Thursday night matchup? Was it 10-7?
That's why I don't know. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. And so I played Henderson in like half the spots that I had him. And then the one spot I didn't play him was the Guillotine League. And we just happened to be talking about it here on the podcast. So either way, it makes for good content.
Oh, yeah. So we both enjoy it. So Travion gets all these touchdowns, and I get to watch Travion get it and not Drake May. So we're both going to be miserable tonight.
Pretty much. Like I said, I am playing him in other spots, but just not playing here in the Gilly.
Yeah, I think I only have him in one other league, one league, and we ended up my partner Ballers on. He was one of the ones that got chopped a couple weeks ago. It's my wife's cousin, but yeah, we share a redraft league, and we've had him on our team since the draft. And I said, let's hold out one more week, and then we held out, and Ramondre Stevenson got injured. I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and start him. Start him, blew up, and we ended up starting him again this week. So hopefully that'll be the league winner for us here, because he's been looking good.
It was the better process play for sure, especially with the Jets basically selling their defense just like a week or two ago. So the Patriots, they could just be running the ball pretty much all night.
Also, you're giving him opportunities now. He didn't have that early on.
There's no one else healthy.
And he wasn't any good, but I don't know. He did something to the coach. I guess he was sleeping with the coach.
Pass protection. Wasn't it pass pro that was kind of holding Henderson back?
I thought it was he didn't run between the tackles or something. I don't remember.
He's not very good at running between the tackles.
And they keep throwing him. He had a couple runs.
They keep putting him in the middle, and his first touchdown was basically the offensive line like pushing him forward to get into the end zone. And then I stopped watching it here as we were going to the pod. But I kept telling my wife, I'm like, stop having him run between the tackles. Get him on the outside. Get him on the outside. And they keep going right up the middle.
Well, that's what they want to do. So that's part of the game plan, I guess. And you gotta adapt.
So. Yeah. So I'm just looking back here. Baller 67 looks like he was out week 6.
Week 6. Okay.
And my wife, she got out week 3. And my wife made the comment just last week, Emily, and she said, "Oh man, like next year, like I really like the Guillotine League. I want to be in like 3 or 4 Guillotine leagues." And I'm like, who's going to be hosting this? Like, who's going to be commissioning all of those Guillotine leagues?
Please don't start another one.
But I really want to do it.
I'm in too many leagues, and I'm like neglecting my other leagues because of this stuff. And like the worst thing is trying to set a lineup for all these leagues. So I'm just hoping that I left the right ones in, and that I didn't miss anybody that's playing Thursday night. That's all I hope.
That's one of the best things about like the Wizarding world, and we won't get into that one too much here because we're talking about the Guillotine League. But best ball. Like, don't forget about best ball. Best ball, like, you feel like you have too many leagues, like, you can add one more as long as it's best ball, you know.
That's why I joined that. I thought that was going to be my last league, and I was like, I can handle it because I don't have to set a lineup. And then you pull this guillotine crap, and I'm glad you did. But
yeah.
So that makes what, four leagues I'm in with you now, just within this year?
That's got to be something like that. It's quite a few, and I got to say, I'm having a lot of fun with this league. I'm talking to clients a lot of times about like the Guillotine League. They're like, "Oh, what's that?" And then I tell them about it. Like, "Ooh, that sounds really fun." And it's like, "Yeah, that is fun." And then I start to talk to them about vampire leagues and then Thanos leagues and all these other different types of leagues that are out there. And like, I don't know, I've never heard of any of these leagues. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to kind of do one of these new ones like each year and just see kind of how it goes. But I'm really enjoying the Guillotine League, and I feel like I need to send a message out and just see who has interest in doing something like this again next year. And we found 18 teams really quick.
Yeah, we did. It was like a week and a half or so. Mm-hmm. So how do you bring this up to your clients? You're sitting there. I know you're a physical therapist, right?
Yeah, I'm physical therapist. We talk
Working
about
on their leg, and you
football
start
all the
talking
time.
fantasy football. Like, how do you
Fantasy,
drop that?
yeah, we're talking about football all the time. So in my clinic, I've got and we're in bear country here. I'm in central Illinois. I got Viking stuff up all around the clinic, and then you get patients that are Bears fans, you get patients that are Packers fans, and every other kind of fans that are out there. And I can talk football with anybody, and so whoever wants to talk football, we talk football, and then you get to talking to some of the people that are coming in with fantasy football, and next thing you know, your whole clinic is just talking.
That sounds like a fun place.
Yeah, some of my patients like it, and some of them don't, and you just have to get a feel for what their personality is, and they're guys and girls alike. They all like football, or some of them it doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl and they don't like the football, and that's okay. Well, we can talk other sports, we can talk movies, we can talk food, lots of food talk, and yeah, we just try and make it an enjoyable experience for the patients that are doing their exercises.
You drop that. I have a podcast in the middle of it.
Sometimes, if they're interested, sometimes it gets brought up, but I
Oh, you
try and
need
keep
some, you
that
need
kind
some
of
good
close
listening
to my.
material.
Yeah, I try and
I
keep it
got
kind of
something for
my
you.
chest here. It's only been recently that I posted on Facebook that I have a podcast, and so that way some of my family members can see it, and some of my other closer friends can see it. I kind of wanted to kind of
Yeah,
work my
saw you
craft
do
and
that.
shape my craft before I kind of threw myself out there and put myself in like a vulnerable state. So I don't know.
Wasn't it
I've
2
really
years?
enjoyed it. Hmm?
Was it two years?
Yeah, this is the second
And
season,
now
and
you're finally dropping it to the family and friends.
yep,
Those
that's
are going to
about
be your
right,
biggest critics, anyways, is family and friends. So
pretty much. But my stepdad, I told him like 2 weeks ago, and I really wanted to let him know a number of times, and I just wanted to wait again just to see how I can kind of build this thing, and I've really enjoyed it, and I especially like when I have a co-host because then it's not just me talking the whole time, and you've got someone to kind of bounce off of,
oh
and
yeah.
it makes it more enjoyable for myself.
No, I think you also get them all in with that song, your intro. That's a
Yeah,
great song. I don't know. I catch myself singing it throughout the day sometimes,
I
especially
do
on Sunday.
enjoy our startup song. That is awesome. There is a slow version of that song also, and I guess I'm just kind of waiting to hear if there's like any like terrible news, and then I can play like that slower intro instead of like our normal intro, and just kind of see if people pick up on it.
Was like everything is awesome, and then it's the second one, everything's not awesome.
Kinda, it's kind of like that. Yep. And I think every like the 25th, 50th, and I don't know if we have, and this might be the 75th episode, and I'll have to double check. If that's the case, then I'm going to have the full version of the song
Oh,
for the intro also.
that's gonna be a treat.
So instead of like that 40-second intro, it's like a minute and 30 seconds.
I know you always cut it off too quick. I'm like ready to listen to more, and then all of a sudden I hear you talking, and I start tuning out.
You start tuning out. Yeah, that's about the time frame.
Speed it up.
I need to make it just long enough so that way Spotify knows that you listened to this podcast. So I probably need to have it at that 60-second mark, so that way you can guarantee that counts as a listen.
No, I go back. I listen a couple times because I'll zone out and I'm doing something like I gotta go back and listen. So you get many views from me.
And I personally, I'm listening it, obviously when I'm doing the podcast, editing it. And so there's times where I'm going back and forth. And I think the editing probably is the most challenging part of having a podcast. It's not so much like coming up with content, but it's like the editing takes the longest amount of time. So you might have a podcast for an hour, but the editing and the technology can take sometimes just as much time or sometimes even longer.
Man, just shoot it live. That's too much work.
Screw it. We're doing it live.
Put it live.
Yeah. I do enjoy finding some of the like side music and side like background sounds and kind of like just playing some of the different noises in the background. And I think that just kind of increases the entertainment value.
Yeah, that's the Howard Stern style right there.
Yeah, I definitely listened to Howard Stern back in like the late '90s, early 2000s. I don't know. Is he still doing
I
radio?
I think something happened. I don't think he's doing it anymore. Something big happened. I didn't care because I don't really listen to him. I don't think
Hmm.
I've ever I watched Private Parts, his movie and everything, but I don't think I've never listened to an episode. I know of him,
Yeah,
but
I
about
watched
it.
it when it was on like the E network
Oh, that's right.
when it would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like
yeah,
late
yeah.
at night.
And then they had all the censors.
They had all the censors and they had all the
Every
people that were
episode.
coming off the streets, and they'd have like hobos, and they'd have all kinds of people on. And
Oh yeah.
he definitely knew the entertainment value. But what you wouldn't know about Howard is that he's a huge germaphobe. And so there was aspects of like the radio and some of his like entertainment stuff that could really like throw him off. Just some of the little quirks that you didn't know, like the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know too much about him, but yeah, I think who was it? Whatever's producers, I think that they didn't resign or something happened. It was something recent within the last month.
I will say with like the Guillotine League also, it's kind of interesting because you kind of see people that are in the chopping zone. That Monday Night Football game has that little bit more value to it. Like we just saw
Always, I got a couple.
this past Monday, for instance, you had the Eagles and the Packers, and there's players that are in the chopping block that they're trying to raise their floor up a little bit higher, and then you see some of these other teams that have maybe one or two players that still have to go, and then you get a game like this past Monday where nobody was scoring points. It was all the way until like
Oh,
the
it was
last like
scary.
4 minutes of the game to know
Yeah,
like
Josh
who was going to
Jacobs
get chopped.
pulled through.
Yeah. And so again, I really like the guillotine settings or guillotine settings, and I could definitely do this again.
Yeah, no, yeah, count me in for next year. I don't see why no one would want to return,
Yeah,
especially with
I'll
the
definitely be
winner take
reaching out to
all.
people, and I'll especially say too. I think people did a really good job with like naming their teams, like kind of death oriented things. Like the guillotine league that we have is Don't Fear the Reaper, and then next thing you know, you have like Weed Whackers and Papo's Pestilence, and you got like Lords of Death. That's myself. You know, Creeping Death is you. Choppenheimer. I think that's one of the better
Schottenheimer.
names in there too. My friend Brink, he has the Brink of Death, Thantos, load management it was always a good one too. But just a lot of great names. Colton's favorite was Sutton on My Face.
Oh, that one was so funny. That one
Yeah,
was funny.
yeah. So just it seems like there's people rooting for each other. It seems like because nobody wants to get chopped, and then
No.
once you're chopped, like that's it, game
No,
over.
you're secretly happy though that they're getting chopped. Well, if it's the right team, you're happy they're getting
Sure,
chopped. But
sure.
some of these guys,
Just as
I'm
long
wishing
as it's not
they would
you.
sneak by, and that way that they're losing a different week instead of it being me.
Yeah, just as long as it's not you, then
Oh
you're
yeah.
happy.
No, I'm hoping whoever has the most fab this week is going to be gone. That's we
Yep.
we need those teams out of here.
Yep. So just so the viewers know, you want to just kind of talk about like who's on your team right now in the Guillotine League, just so that way they know, like, okay, we got 10 weeks gone. That means 10 teams have been completely chopped from this league with 8 teams remaining. And in regards to my team, for instance, and we play 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex. And then we got 7 people on our bench with an IR spot. And so I've got Lamar, Saquon, Javonte Williams. I just picked up. We just talked about him like potentially being a curse for my team. We get Drake London, Nico Collins, all guys that I've picked up. Although I did draft Drake London and Lamar Jackson, but Kate Otten, George Pickens, Emeka Buka was a guy I drafted in the 4th round. He's been just completely awesome. But there was a week where he got hurt too, and it was looking like tough sledding for me.
Bo
Woody
Nix.
Marks, Henderson, Bo Nix definitely saved me. Montgomery, Dobbins, Charbonnet, Tez Johnson was a good pickup, and then Parker Washington just this past week. And who's on your team there, Zach?
All right. So I have starting with quarterback. I got Drake May. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Devontae Adams, Rashee Rice, Chase Brown, and Kyle Pitts. That's my starting lineup for this week. And then I have on my bench Jared Goff, Tony Pollard, Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Tet McMillan, Harold Fannin, my favorite, Colston Loveland, and then I have Bucky Irving on IR. So pretty stacked team if they can all play together.
Yeah, and I think this is where you can take your victory lap now with Harold Fannin.
I told you.
I told you. Right?
I also had what's this? Rondé Gadsden on the top two. I didn't believe as much as my model did, but I'm regretting it now because you won't trade him to me.
Yeah, he's breaking
But
out all over
him.
the place.
I was
with
hoping
the
he'd get
Chargers.
opportunities, and then here we go.
Yep, and the way he jumped over the other tight ends that were with the Chargers was just fascinating because it just took him a few weeks, and the next thing you know, he's like, okay, I'm number 3 tight end, wasn't playing, and then all of a sudden, whoom, in the starting role, and now he's just making all these explosive plays.
Well, yeah, who was there? I can't remember who they were.
Will Dissly and
let's see, look here, Conklin. Yeah, come on, let's be real. Dissly and Conklin are those aren't fantasy names. They're not fantasy relevant. And I should have known going in, like if this kid had any opportunity, he was going to be good. So like, I have like I said, I made a tight end model this year, and I think he was originally, I think he was like my number 2 on the year.
He was your sleeper.
Yeah, he's definitely a sleeper. I had there's definitely some adjustments I need to do, but I had an upside score, which is kind of like the breakout score, based off of the best season that I run against my kind of the same formula as I do for my quarterbacks. But yeah, it really liked him. But I just didn't know about the opportunities. Like it said that if he got any opportunity whatsoever, he was going to be good, and he was better than I thought he would be. So.
Yeah, he's been playing fantastic. He did have a quad bruise that was a little concerning for this week, but sounds like all the arrows are pointing up, and he's good to go for the weekend.
Yeah, I went back and watched that injury. It just looked like it was a dead leg, the way they hit. So I thought it was knee at first, but no, thank God. I have him in a few leagues.
Yeah, it definitely looked concerning right from the start. I think we should probably talk about a few other things. Let's go back to quarterback because it's kind of your bread and butter. We have seen a lot of injuries in the league, and one of the injuries that we've seen here recently was Jackson Dart going out with concussion. He's been evaluated like 4 times for concussion just this year, and he's had like 75 hits. He's just putting his body in harm's way, and now we're finding that Coach Brian Daboll has been fired by the New York Giants, and now Mike Kafka.
Who's Kafka? Tell me.
Is now the coach for the Giants.
Yeah,
and they're going to be starting Jameis Winston in place of Dart.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited about Winston. So he's going to be it'll be a fun start this week. He just 5 interceptions, 5 touchdowns. Like you're going to get everything, including a great after game speech up at the podium.
And I think the Giants, aren't they playing the Packers this week?
Oh, I don't remember.
I'm almost certain because
every day runs together and every week runs together. If I'm not looking at my stats and phone, like I'm useless.
Yeah, they had some backup quarterbacks that have beaten them earlier this season, and now they're going to have another backup quarterback that's going to be hopefully beating them down this coming weekend. The Packers, they can't put up more than 10 points in a game. Their defense is stopping teams 13 points or less the last 3 weeks, and they are 0-3. They don't have any direction at all. Tucker Kraft's out. That was their number 1 receiver, and now they got everyone else banged up, including Dobbs, and Watson's finally back, but they can't even put anything together.
No, when the season started, I was like, oh my God, Packers, put all my money on the Packers for the Super Bowl. They were looking great. Like defense stopped they played Detroit week 1 and then Washington week 2 and shut them both out. Like there was nothing that they could do. And then I guess teams have.
And then they made the big trade with Parsons.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then there was just skyrocket.
And now Dallas is looking for a defensive player to put them to the next level.
Yeah,
Get rid of him. And
Quinton
they
Williams.
actually needed him.
Man, they're just a defensive player away from making a run.
No, it makes good for their offense though, because that means that they're out there having to score every possession. And yeah, if you have some Dallas players on your team, you're probably doing pretty well in fantasy this year.
Zach, we've talked back and forth about different movies and shows that we've watched in the past, and how we've got a pretty similar palette with some of the movies. Do you know where this bit came
Who's
from?
got them? Tell me!
I don't. I want to say like Animal House or something. I don't know.
Congo. Did you ever
Congo?
see Congo?
Oh,
Where they had
Congo.
Yeah,
God,
Amy, the
with
talking
with
gorilla.
those, the gorilla. I haven't seen that since I was like 12. Like it was like early 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, you got to go back and rewatch this movie.
I've
It's
seen it
basically
once.
it's a story within a story, and it's about this gorilla Amy who can speak sign language, and she's got these special arms where she can sign and she can kind of like talk, and she'd be like ugly woman, and she's trying to get back to the jungle where her home was. But like the background of the story is that she's doing all this painting, and it's showing the jungle, but it's also showing signs of the lost city of Zinj. And that's where Tim Curry comes in, and he's this Romanian guy whose name is like Holka Molka Molka, and he's got this really terrible Romanian accent, and he completely makes the movie.
I don't even remember Tim Curry being in it.
Oh my God, you got to go back.
It's been forever.
It's supposed to be a legit movie, but there's so much comedy in this movie because of Tim Curry's character. Like, you will not stop laughing.
See, I think when I was young, when I watched it, I took it as a serious movie and then didn't appreciate the comedy. Now, if I go back, I'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah, the myth of the killer gorilla is true. The myth of the killer gorilla is true.
No, I just actually, it's funny that we're talking about Tim Curry. I just last week just watched it again from the 90s. This is after I finally watched the newer ones from 2017, because I was like, I might as well.
Yeah, I only remember the first half of the It movies when they were kids before they grew up.
Yeah, so I didn't realize. So I went back when I was watching it. There's a lot, like they had the adults like throughout the first part. And I always thought it was like a part one was all the kids and part two was the adults. But it was like mixed in throughout unless I watched a different version. I don't know.
I don't recall. I only remember them as the kids, kind of like Full Metal Jacket. I only remember the first half of Full Metal Jacket, and then once I got out of boot camp, I just kind of lost interest in the whole movie.
Oh, I love them. They had so many good quotes that you can't repeat.
Yep. And then another, I think Tim Curry was an underrated actor. I watched the movie Darkness just last week, and that's where he's kind of playing a devil character. And then you got a very young Tom Cruise that is like the hero of the story.
Oh, is that with the devil horn? No, yeah, with the
he had the unicorn horn. And he's trying to kill the
I remember that one. I have been. Who was the chick? The chick was famous too, wasn't she?
She was the girl that played in Fierce Bueller's Day Off.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what her name is. Mia something, no. I think.
Sure, we'll go with it. Mia something. She's a great actress. Yeah,
that's the only two movies that I can recall that she's in. I'm sure she's in plenty. But yeah, the more you know. Out of some of these quarterbacks, which quarterbacks do you feel like that you've got right this year, and like which quarterbacks were you like wrong on? And so for all of them,
it's been a headache.
I feel like I was pretty right with Daniel Jones. Like Daniel Jones, he kind of had a little bit like a lunch dinner, with the Minnesota Vikings last year, and I was one that spoke very loud.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop you there. That was just a homer pick, and you got lucky with that. Well.
Homer, he left.
He's been great. No. Never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, so I followed him along, and I'm like, if only the Vikings would have had Daniel Jones, I thought that he'd be a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. And now you fast forward to week 11, and here we are. And I just posted on X that Daniel Jones is kind of getting nominated for that MVP award. His name is at least getting brought up to that level.
Yeah, he is. He's coming back down to earth, but no, he's the
last week or so was not great.
So I don't know, but they don't need a quarterback when you have Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan
Taylor is at the top of the mountain right now.
Yeah, he beat me. I played him last week. He put up 50 points on me. I ended up losing by 4.
Oh my.
Like, it was a tough week.
Another one that I feel like I got right, and it's only because of Purdy getting injured, but I had Mac Jones over Purdy for the 49ers.
Yeah, you were all about
Bryce
that.
Young, hashtag, like, I'm never on the Bryce Young train. However, the Panthers are still winning in light of his poor play. What were some of the quarterbacks that you feel like you kind of got right as we're going into the season? Well, I think you were on Bo Nix and Penix, right?
Yeah, no, I've always been on Bo Nix. I was huge on him last year, and yeah, he paid off for me. Yeah, I was big on Penix. He had that great first game, and I was like, oh, here we go. But I don't know. He's
That flashes.
yeah, no, he dropped off, and then it was last 2 weeks has been all right, but nothing that with what I expected him to be.
I was just saying now Penix is actually throwing to London more consistently, so he's starting to look a little bit better over the last couple weeks.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely elevated London's game. That's been so finally everybody that's been waiting this 3 years, they're finally getting the taste of what he's supposed to be. So London, yeah, he's brought London to it as a top 5 wide receiver out there now. So you can say goodbye to Justin Jefferson. You get out of the way. London's taking his spot.
We had a trade in the offseason here. I had
Mhm.
London and you had Garrett Wilson, and we made a trade in the Wizarding world, and it's come back to pay dividends for you. It
Oh
was
yeah.
Garrett Wilson and a third for London, and London has just completely exploded on the scene.
I think I got a fourth with that too.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that was JSN. That was
Was it
JSN.
JSN? I
That
don't know.
one was
I traded for.
JSN.
Was it JSN?
Well,
Oh, then I
yeah,
just started doing that trade.
I had London in the Medusa League, excuse me, and I think you gave me DJ
Oh yeah,
Moore.
that's right. Yeah. You traded me both of those. Yeah, I gave you what? It was DJ Moore and Devonta Smith for London. I
Yes,
think it is
yeah,
that one,
something like that.
and then yeah, we traded. You gave me
It
Jason
was
in the fourth, and
The
you got.
JSN for Garrett Wilson in a third. That
Oh
one
my
was
god. No,
that one has been devastating for my team in Wizarding World.
oh no, he was my biggest acquisition this year. I have him in multiple leagues, so I don't know. Every year I get like a hunch like this is going to be my guy, and yeah, this year it was him. So
That was definitely correct on your end.
I don't know. Well, if I missed,
Speaking of Ferris Bueller, had to hit it.
it was perfect.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, if I missed on him, then I'm done in all my leagues. So it's it's kind of a all my eggs in one basket, and it's just I got lucky.
Speaking of eggs in one basket, I've got a league that Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and Roma Dunze, and I am 5-5, and I may not even make the playoffs.
No, that's how I am in the Harry Potter Wizardry league. I'm 5-5. I looked at it today, and unless I get lucky the rest of the season, I don't know how I'm making the playoffs. I do get Joe Burrow back, and hopefully it'll be good to be teamed up with Higgins, but I'm struggling to make the playoffs. I might have to sell most of the guys.
Yeah, I think you had a couple of highest points per week in the Wizarding world, and so I think there's a little bit of money coming your way that way.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So even when
Might make
you're not making the playoffs, like you're still winning.
And there's how many weeks we got left? Is it 4 more weeks? 3 more
Like
weeks?
4. Yeah.
Oh, I got time.
11, 12,
Brinks,
13, 14.
okay. I think Brink's ahead of me in my division because there's like, what, 4 divisions, 5 something? I think, was it 4 or 5 divisions with like 3? I think, was it 5 divisions or 4 divisions? It's 4 divisions with 3 teams in each.
Yeah.
It makes it hard. It's terrible because there's
4 houses.
It's true. That last division's so bad, and I'm beating them, but I'm I'm out of the playoffs.
No.
So
I haven't taken a look and seen what the Jets and the Patriots are doing here, but I think we got to talk about Justin Fields a little bit and how that they've won the last couple games, but like last week he won and he only threw for 53 yards. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception versus the Browns. And 3 of the last 4 games, Fields has only thrown for less than 60 yards. I've been holding on to Brady Cook in a couple leagues. I had to drop him in one this week, but I still got him in another. But Brady Cook was a 25-year-old rookie out of Missouri, He's athletic, and he had the number one quarterback athletic score in the 2025 class per playerprofiler.com, and is the 35th overall athletic score all time for the player profiler, like quarterback profiles out of like 298 quarterbacks. I'm really digging deep here, but my thought process here with a guy like Brady Cook in Dynasty is, Justin Fields, although he's got the contract, like the GM has literally thrown him under the bus this year. He was backing Aaron Glenn, the coach, and saying like, well, if you had a quarterback like this, like you'd be losing games too.
I feel like this has followed Fields since he's been with the Bears. Like, we're from there, like the same thing in Pittsburgh, and now the same thing in the Jets. So there's a common denominator here.
Like they almost, like everyone seemed like they were doing all these soft benching stuff, including the Vikings, and I apologize for that aspect, but the Jets were basically doing like a soft benching of Justin Fields a few times, a Tyrod Taylor, and it's like, well, Tyrod Taylor, he's not getting any younger. So I thought, well, who's the next man up? And that's where I thought like a guy like Brady Cook would be an interesting like stash for maybe the end of the season. You don't think so?
No, I remember the name. I think I had him in my pre-draft rankings, and he was already so far down there and then wasn't drafted. So he's definitely not drafted. He's not even in my model anymore.
Oh man, that's
you're already a bad quarterback, and then you're playing for the Jets, so it's not a good combination there.
Touche. Well, what about a guy like this? Colton and I talked about this fella last week. It was Caden Slovis out of BYU. He was in the 2024 class behind Jacoby Brissett. Last week, Jacoby Brissett was getting blown away, and who's the next man up? And so I thought a guy like maybe Slovis would be a guy that you could kind of think about. And we had to look him up. We didn't even know who Caden Slovis was. I thought he was like the Canadian quarterback that played for the Packers for a little bit. I was completely wrong. He in 2019, he was the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year award, and he was thrown for like 3,500 yards and 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions with USC. But 2019 was his best year in college, and he was in college for a long time.
Oh, I think he was with,
is Slovis anything to consider? He has no rushing upside, by the way.
Well, not for fantasy then. Then that type of quarterback, if there's no rushing upside, is not worth playing. But just don't pick up. It's crazy that you can have all these awards and everything in college, and just the next year, how big of a drop off. Like going into this year, these quarterbacks, like I had Cade Klubnik was looking like, oh man, the way his projections were looking, I was like, he's going to be my top quarterback next year. I know he is. He's been awful this year. Like there's nobody worth right now. Like there's nobody worth right now. If there's a few guys out there that if they get a first round pick, they'll be a tier 5. But that's my like pretty much boom or bust.
Well, what do you think about Cam Ward and how the Titans are? Like right now, the Titans are sitting in the number 1 chair. Like, do you think they're gonna pull a Josh Rosen? And
I heard Cam Ward and then Josh Rosen, so I'm guessing about the screw you. We're gonna draft Kyler Murray.
Yeah. No, is that going to happen here in 2026? Are they going to stick with Cam Ward?
I've watched some Cam Ward film, and it's not on him. Like he has some really good throws out there. Like he's making the pro throws. Some of the throws he makes are it's incredible. It may be the Titans because you look at Marcus Mariota coming out, like his score, like. The way he came out of college, he was looking like he'd be one of the top quarterbacks of all time. The way he could rush and throw the ball, goes to the Titans and just absolutely sucks. So I don't know. Maybe I need to put all the teams together and see how they do with the quarterbacks and then add a suck factor of the team you're going to, which will drop your ranking. I don't know. But
what about Ryan Tannehill? He was with the Dolphins.
So, no, there is a difference of quarterbacks being drafted out of college and then going to another team as they're already these first round picks that they have the talent out there. These other the teams aren't trying to develop a rookie. So at this point, like you have these veterans that go to the next team. It's like Daniel Jones out there. He's playing like a first rounder should be. So they're just not ready when they get to their that first team, and then teams are giving up on them, and then someone else is reaping the rewards. But yeah, a lot of these guys you can't give up on. They have the talent. That's why they got drafted. It's just about finding the best way to teach these guys to know your system.
A lot of them end up touching the Jets too, because you got Geno Smith and Sam Darnold and now Justin Fields, and we'll see if Zach Wilson, if he can shake off some of the rust now while he's with the Dolphins. Like, will he have an
I know.
opportunity?
I've been wanting to see him go in for Tua,
Right.
but Tua hasn't looked terrible. He's been bad, but he's been serviceable out there the last few weeks.
Yeah, agreed. But there has been a lot of quarterback injuries this year. We had Burrow and Purdy and Lamar Jackson, Stroud, Kyler Murray, Wentz, Jaden Daniels, Dart, Anthony Richardson with his eye. That was just a freak thing. So, I mean, it just seems like with all of these quarterback injuries, like you always want to know who the next guy up is and have them stashed in your super flex. And then you get a guy like Joe Burrow, who now he has the practice window opening up, and he could be available for Thanksgiving.
I guess 20 days now. 20 days. So hopefully he comes back. I was a little slow on my my waivers to get him. So, but it's still 20 days away, and that's not even a guarantee that he'll be playing when that window's up. It just means that he's back full time at practice, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't trust it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Win a
You're
few
the
more
expert when
games
it comes to
first.
injury.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He's been dealing with. Isn't it just turf toe? Is that mainly his main problem? Wasn't it turf
I
toe?
think so, but it doesn't make sense to rush him back. Like, you got a terrible team, and why are you going to throw your star, like whatever the player that you pay
Of your franchise.
3/4 of the your entire cap or whatever it is to come back and then get hurt before the end of the season? Then he's not going to be ready for next opening season. So
That's really the fear.
So I don't know why you would start him, but I don't know. Maybe
Michael's been entertaining. He's been giving people fantasy points. He's been giving the Bengals something to cheer for. They've been in a lot of games. They are putting up a lot of points, and it's not really the offense's fault whether it's Joe Burrow or Flacco. It's the defense. The defense is just terrible. We talked about Justin Fields with only throwing for less than 60 yards. You know what the one game was? Who he played against that he scored greater than 60 yards? The Bengals. He threw for well over 200 yards. And so, like, something's different here.
Yeah. Speaking about Justin Fields, over under of, we'll say 27 yards. Over under.
The over under before the game was a over under of 100.
Well, I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now for passing yards.
Oh my God. Over under of how many yards did you say?
27 yards.
No, it's under than that, isn't it?
23 yards. He's 4 for 7.
My God.
And then he has 28 yards, which is what he for rushing, which is what he got in the first his first drive. He got that touchdown and then nothing.
My point being, Brady Cook is a name to know. I'm telling you, Brady Cook is going to have an opportunity at a 25-year-old rookie out of Missouri. They can't keep throwing fields out there if he's not throwing for 60 yards.
At this point, what's the worst that can happen?
Not throwing for 60 yards, he's not a quarterback.
Like, it's nobody that I would want in Dynasty or anything, because he'll come in and they'll draft a quarterback next year or whatever they got to do. Well, next year, I don't like this draft class anyways, but 2 years from now, 2027.
They're paying Fields for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, well, you got to pay him next year too, so that'll be an easy way to tank, I guess.
It was a team-friendly deal. It wasn't that expensive of a deal, if I recall. But again, if you're Garrett Wilson, why would you want to play? Like, do we think that this injury is even real?
For Garrett Wilson?
Question. Yeah.
Is he pulling the Anthony Richardson?
I mean,
what'd you say about Richardson, that he wants to be a free agent so that
self-sabotage?
So he can choose where he goes next year? No, I don't know what the injury with Wilson, but every year there's so much hype with him, and then he just doesn't. He gets his catches, and it's just been the middle of the pack. I haven't seen superstar points yet from him, at least for
Ohio State.
But there's maybe a small taste of it, but really not much. But no, I don't blame him. After Sauce Gardner left, I thought it was going to be at least Breece Hall would get traded.
Right?
I don't know what they're doing with him, man. He hates it there. Get that man to a better team. And then
Right.
same
Well,
with
and they have all these other running backs too, like Isaiah Davis. He was going to be the next guy up. Allen's still on the team. He's on the IR. He's supposed to come back at the end of the season here too. So I don't know. And running back is replaceable. So
it
why, like a
is.
team like the Jets have nothing. Like the running back should be one of the last things you toss in there if you want like a luxury pick.
I know what was it? They did a Bandicanda, and then it was and then who was the next one? It was Braylon Allen, and then
Braylon Allen.
Isaiah Davis. Like like Brees Hall's like really? I don't know. I'd be pissed if I were Brees, and yeah, I would be demanding a trade, and I'd be barking like AJ Brown does on the sideline.
But there was a running back that was in free agency, and I can't remember who it was that was discussing potentially coming to the Jets. And Brees Hall was like, "No, man, we're good here. We got our running back core. We don't need another running back." That was like 2 years ago.
I think I remember this. I don't know. Yeah, it sounds familiar. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It
I don't know if it was Leonard Fournette or something like that, but it was
Uncle
a bigger
Lenny?
name. It was a bigger name running back.
Man,
I
Leonard
just don't
Fournette.
recall who it was.
That's a drop off right there. You go from stardom and just drop off. Yeah, like you said, running back is easily replaceable.
He was a running back that he always came to camp like big. He never took care of himself. And then of course you're going to fall out of the league if you're, eating bonbons and you're not working out in the summer. No team's going to take you like literally. Yeah,
Well,
you're
now
going to be a
they
running
got,
back. You're not even in shape yet.
they don't need Uncle Lenny. They got Bucky Irvin sitting on the bench waiting to heal up.
Yeah, I think Lenny, didn't he have a sandwich there in Buffalo?
I don't know. Would he keep it in his sock and pull it out at halftime?
I'm
What was it?
pretty
He
sure
used to do that
I'm
with
pretty sure
Skittles.
Lenny
Skittles.
I'm pretty sure Lenny was with Buffalo. I think that was his last destination.
No,
And
it
he
was,
just didn't make it.
no, I was sorry. I was thinking with the Sox. Was it Marshawn Lynch, whatever, or Marshawn Lynch with the
Beast mode?
Skittles in the sock.
God.
Beast mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's made an appearance a couple times this year, being on the sidelines doing photography.
Oh, really? I didn't even hear about that.
Yep. Yeah, they had showed him in a few games. But did you have any last things here about the Guillotine League?
Okay, yeah, I completely forgot. That's why you brought me on, was to talk about the Guillotine League, and we talked about everything.
Sorry, man.
So let's just cut everything out in between. We'll keep it a 10-minute show. Guillotine is great. It's just
Just cut it right there.
It's not survival.
Just cut it right there. Guillotine's great, and then boom, done.
It's good. Guillotine good. No, it's been How many weeks we got left? So we're in week 11 right now.
18,
So
so 7 weeks.
7 more weeks. So just got to survive. I just hope I've done enough with my team that I can avoid injury, because I feel like my team, the way I've built it, it can compete each week. If anybody right now, if your superstar just absolutely sucks and you don't get points from them, then there's a good chance you're going to get bounced. So I have Drake May. I'm looking at it. He has 143 yards. And that's it. So it's not a good way to start. What's that? Is that
I got 21 points for Henderson on my bench.
Oh, that's wonderful. So your guys are doing stuff. It's just not stuff.
I always appreciate my bench players still putting up points, because then at least I know that there's still good players on my bench. I want to make sure that my lineup is still adequate.
So no, who's supposed to be bounced this week, because they're going to be safe. Who is it this week?
It looks like Creeping Death.
That's me. I'm safe.
No, Weed Whackers is in the chop zone.
Oh yeah, no, he'll be like number 4 this week. That's what's going to happen, and then it's going to be me. It's going to be me with Drake May not producing 20 points
in
this
the bed.
week.
The Thursday night. That's one of my old rules. I just, if I can get away with it, I don't like playing players from Thursday Night Football. There's just been too many duds.
And I had the thing was like I could do that, or it was golf against Philadelphia this week. So
that'd be a tough one too.
Yeah, so no, I went with Drake May. So it's still got the second half. So he may get a rushing touchdown, and then I don't know. At least it's not like what the Seattle did last week when they were up like 28 to nothing, like in the first. Seattle's 28 nothing, and I think it was only one touchdown from Darnold, and there's two defensive touchdowns, and then JSN and Darnold both out of the equation for fantasy. Really, they're up so much. I was surprised they didn't take him out earlier, but that also was part of me losing last week against Jonathan Taylor by 4 points because Seattle did this to me too. So if Seattle's defense wasn't doing what they were doing, I might have won that game, but I'm not
You've had
bitter.
a better chance.
Yeah, I'm not bitter.
But yeah, you still got Gibbs and Bijan for your running backs.
No, I got
like
Rasheed
you've got a
Rice
good base
as well. So
with JSN, playing against the Rams. So you got a lot of good players still left. But here's the thing: there's 8 teams left, and like everybody has a good roster now.
Oh yeah, no, it's the one good thing about this week is Jonathan Taylor is on his bye, so he may be available next week if your superstar isn't doing anything. But yeah, no, we're all stacked, and it's anybody's game at this point in time.
And if you got any fab whatsoever, like you're doing okay.
Yeah, I got I think $50 left, so I bought my guys. So now I'm waiting to get a top tight end. I think I'll be complete.
Got 22 left, and there's still a player that has 259 fab left, and there's also a player that has 121. So
yeah, the one with the 250. That's when I bought Bijan. When I bought Bijan, I ended up spending $301 on Bijan because I think he had 300 left at that point in time. And I was like, I have to get him, and then he only bid like 100, so I spent so much more. So I could have still had a lot if I would have just done percentages, but you learn.
I had a lot of great deals after
Yeah,
I did the fab. I put most of my fab down on a running back because I was having some running back problems, and then only to have quarterback problems afterwards. Put 804 of my 1,000 fab down for Saquon, and I've never been a Saquon person. And I never had Saquon in any of my rosters, and so this is the first ever Saquon on any of my teams.
Is it your fault?
And he has not done squat, and he hasn't done nothing. He hasn't done a whole lot at all.
You're killing my main dynasty league.
Yeah, sorry, man. It's because I got him.
Well, if you when you get cut, maybe he'll start doing good again. But who knows?
Then you can pick him up with your last remaining fab.
I don't have any money to get him.
Yeah, you'll put a $1 bid.
I got to wait till like week 16, and then I think I'll be able to start bid again. Be able to bid.
But let's just hope that the Javonte Williams curse doesn't take its toll on me this weekend, and hopefully you'll be able to bounce back from this Drake May poor performance, and we'll be able to see each other for another week.
Yeah, well, if you do get
league.
Yeah, if you do get chopped, then I am definitely not picking up Javonte because that curse is real. I don't believe in it at this point, but if it happens again this week while we're all looking at it, then he's going to go for nothing.
Do you think that scared people off of him? I put a very
low
bid
on him. That. Nobody bid on him. I think that was just you.
There was 3 people that bid on him.
Well,
one person ended up getting somebody else already, and then I got him for like 23 fab, and then there was somebody that missed him with 15 fab. No, I didn't think I was going to get him with 23. I'm like, I'll just get the next person, down the line. And then the next thing you know, I have him like, oh crap.
Yeah. No, speak about deals. I got Rasheed Rice for 40. Nobody.
That was good. That was excellent.
I couldn't believe that happened. It was after I spent so much on Bijan. I was like, okay, I'll go for Rice. I'm not expecting to get him.
I think you got him like week 4 or week 5. It was still.
No, I got him last week. I got him last week.
Oh, Rice, really?
Yeah. He hasn't played yet.
Okay.
I got him right. I got him going into his bye, so that's probably part of it.
Oh, the bye week.
Yeah, I knew my team was strong enough to be able to survive that.
Yep. I'm just trying to week by week.
Survive. It's not about how strong your team is; it's about how weak everybody else's team is. So.
Yeah. Well, and another strategy I will say is knowing when the bye weeks are now. And so when you're putting some bids on these players, like, okay, have they had their bye, or are we getting them for 1 week and then they're on a bye, and then now you're like, in kind of like purgatory again.
Yeah, no, all my like I said earlier, my week 8 was all my buys. Those were the guys I drafted. I didn't know that. Going in, I didn't look at buys. I don't believe I'll just I know I can pick up players along the way and do what I need to do, but had no idea I had this many, and that's scary for Guillotine. Like next year, I'll make sure that I don't do that again. That was a stressful week.
Hey, I mean, if
up.
you have your bye week later on in the season when other people are getting chopped, it's not so bad.
No, yeah. Yeah, would it be
No?
better early? Is it you think it's better early on to have a buy or later on?
I think it'd be later
Well,
buy
like
because
early on,
there's
if you
less
can get
players available if you have early buys. Like if you had week 3, if you had like a week 4, week 5, week 6 type of buy, like there's only like 4 teams that are out. If you had a week 5 buy,
all right.
you
We gotta
increase your chances
we
of
gotta start
having
writing
better
this down and
players.
figuring out. So next
Yeah,
year,
you had a bunch
late
of players like
buys,
week
not the
12.
same buy.
Yeah, week 12, week 14 buys. It's like okay,
Right in time for fantasy playoffs.
yep. Well, there's no fantasy playoffs in the Guillotine League. Like you're
Oh,
either
I know.
in it to win it or you're chopped.
Yeah. So I'm getting notifications here. I thought Henderson scored again, but no, he didn't.
Which is great. I'm happy for the guy. We waited all season for this. One
You're
other
gonna be
side
staying away
note I
from
will
Drake.
say. One other side note I will say about the Guillotine League that I've tried to make it a little bit more customizable is that each week after someone's chopped, I'm trying to take their profile picture and I'll have AI make a picture of them having a guillotine or guillotine coming down on them. And you know, as a member of this Guillotine League, like, do you
Drake
appreciate
May
that
touchdown.
aspect of it?
Hold on. I'm sorry. Breaking news. Drake May 6-yard passing touchdown to Travion Henderson. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt for that. That was breaking news right here.
My
Breaking
God,
news.
I'm going to have like 30 points on my bench.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. But
Right,
what
I'm
I was
sorry.
trying to say is like
Go on with
as
the chlorophyll.
as a member of like this league, like do you appreciate like the customization of something like that with adding a little bit of that I don't know, the art to it?
Oh yeah, no, I love it. I just hope that the teams are sticking around long enough to be able to see it because a lot of they're just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not looking at this. Like, yeah, you got it. I don't know how it feels yet, but like you have to be mad as soon as you're chopped because you're done. This has been such a fun league, and now that's all taken away from you.
And you get nothing. Then it's nothing.
You get nothing. You get nothing. You're not first, you're last. It's
Good way to end the show.
yeah. No, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you created this league.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want some more content here from Zach, you can find him at Tier 1 Quarterback. That's Tier 1 QB on Twitter X. You can find me at FF Healers on Twitter X. And Zach, as always, we really appreciate you coming on to the show. Sorry the internet was a little bit finicky here and kind of going in and out. But nonetheless, we really enjoyed all the content, being Guillotine, movies, just fantasy football as a whole, quarterback model. We've appreciated all your time, and thank you for coming on again.
No, thanks for having me, Dustin.
All right, well, thank you, and take care, everybody.
Your soul is mine.